Yeah, I love talking about Joy Hour. It is a great event we do, and it's spreading across the country. The Joy Hour is creating a culture of connection. In a sober environment, we have all kinds of events and activities, but it really is creating a culture of connection. Our focus is addiction prevention, also addiction recovery, mental health, hope, and healing through connection. If you'd like to get involved, please go to theconsiderategroup.com/Joy Hour. Just going to jump right in here to the Joy Hour podcast. Ryan Elwell from Mission Outdoors and many other things that you're involved in, and just how we know each other, and love to just hear your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Tom.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Ryan, and I founded Mission Outdoors back in 2017, and formalized this nonprofit as a 501c3 with the federal government, and I got involved with the veteran community back in 2013, and had the opportunity to take 7 veterans fishing for 4 days, and we spent a lot of time together fishing and having dinner together in the evenings. And this is out of Westport, Washington, and it's kind of a selfish hobby that I have. Love hanging out with my buddies at the ocean and doing the fishing thing, and had the opportunity to take these vets out and just spend time with them. And it changed my life through that, just showing some love and spending time with them. They 3 out of the 7 sent me letters afterwards that they were taking suicide off the table.
Nice.
And it was a game changer for me. I've had friends that have struggled with PTSD, and a few that aren't here anymore. And I realized that it might be that easy to plant a seed of hope in someone's life, to connect them and remove that isolation. And it's become a passion of mine. I just the things that I have in my life, the hobbies that I have, I look for ways to share those with families. And at Mission Outdoors, we don't offer an event unless we can offer it to the whole family. It's all about the family unit and friendship and that connection that can really change the trajectory of someone's life. I've been working in healthcare for over 30 years, and there's only so much we can do for people within the 4 walls of a sterile hospital. It's what they do when they come out of there. Do they follow up with the things that their doctor recommended and move into a healthy lifestyle? And a big part of that is having friends that can encourage us to move forward and make good choices. One of the things I think about often is that for men especially, we do better statistically if we have friends that are counting on us. For example, if it's a Thursday night and we've had a rough day, we go home to our family and we kind of want to take our day out on them. We tend to do better if on Saturday our friends are expecting us. None of us guys want to go to our friends and say, you know what, I kind of lost it on my wife, I lost it on my kids.
Right.
That accountability just is a game changer. And so for Mission Outdoors, we put an event on the table. It's kind of the art of the deal. There's a book out written by a past president, but for me in Mission Outdoors, it's all about the art of the deal. What can I put on the table that might cause a veteran family to look twice and actually consider coming out and getting involved?
Yeah, I love it. I'm learning more and more about veterans and active military. I never did serve, but I think there's a side of me that understands it. Going through my own sort of isolation and own issues for so many years with active drug use and addiction, and drowning all of my feelings and isolating myself in my shop and a lot of alone time. I feel like there's some similarities that the people I talk to and work with in addiction have, where we just get it. We understand, like, we bottled up these feelings, and then we dealt with them with different products. And so we were fine, right? We were fine. But the truth is, a lot of us men, a lot of times we're not fine. And who do we talk to? Like, I'm a tough contractor. I'm not supposed to be emotional, but yet I am emotional. I'm a complex individual that has days where I feel anxiety so bad that I'm sick in my stomach and I'm curled up in the fetal position. I don't tell anybody that because it's not safe to tell anybody that. I'm supposed to be fine, and what do I do with that? I can't imagine And what I'm trying to say is I can't imagine that combined with what all that they've seen and been through. Again, I've never lived that life, yet I have this freedom. I live in America. I mean, I've never personally had to fight for my freedom. I've got 3 precious kids, and I don't live in fear. Like, and to appreciate and to love people that have gone through that, but also to normalize the relationship and say, you went through that. I see you. I don't understand it, but I see you. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of similarities in people that have hit some rock bottoms with addiction and we're in that recovery mentality. And speaking more about real talk and, getting people outdoors. I think so much healing, truthfully, in my life has happened through outdoor. Go on a hike with a guy, and by the end of the day, I feel great. For the next week or 2 or sometimes longer, I'm going, that was the best part of my month. Just me and some guy going on a 2-hour hike. But these men and women that I know from what I've seen and that you reach out to, it's huge. Let's do something outside together. And the event is the starting point, but then those relationships, I'm sure you have a ton of relationships that never would be what they are without the first event. The fishing trips, I've yet to make it to one, but I do know, if you don't mind talking on a couple of those stories of people that have been to those. I mean, it's like you said, it changed the complete trajectory of their life just by a one-day fishing trip.
Yeah. It's, we have, all of our events are very fun, and I'm thinking about one veteran that came out back in 2013 and is really struggling. He had he got hit in the head with shrapnel from a .50 caliber and ended up with traumatic brain injury. Actually, he had 2 more deployments after that injury. The military didn't catch this problem that he had, so he was deployed 2 more times. He had a physical, and they determined that his cognitive ability had changed from that accident, and he was medically separated from his unit, from the military, and he was referred to us by a good friend of mine, and he came out and just joined us. He loved to fish growing up. That's his favorite memory from his childhood. That's what he did with his dad.
Yeah.
And he started to come out, and then he began to volunteer, and through that, he ended up accepting Christ. With Mission Outdoors, I like to talk about how we earn the right to share our faith. We're a non-religious based organization, but for me as an individual, the most important thing about me is my relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
So this individual accepted Christ. He had a lot of anger that he laid at the foot of the cross, and decided to move forward. And he's really a cornerstone for the organization now, and he helps us design events that are safe and that veteran families would feel good about attending. And we like to replicate that over and over again, where we earn the right to give someone a hand. And addiction's a big part of it. I don't want to be approached by someone where they tell me, Ryan, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. But I do enjoy friendship. And Tom, if you came to me, I mean, we've done a lot together. We've spent lots of hours together in the trenches, doing good in this world. And for you to come to me and say, Ryan, I'd like to talk to you about this thing that I see in your life, I'd be open to that. That would be a safe thing. And so through these events, we earn the right to take on that role and hopefully breathe some wisdom and new life into someone that is really struggling and is struggling to find a path forward. Because with our network, with the people that care, there's a path forward for folks when they feel like there isn't one. We can surround them with hope and help them identify that healthy path forward. So.
The word I think about there is squad, and again, never being in the service, military, but I've heard it many times from men I've talked to and women. You think about a child. You go back to your childhood. You had your friends, and you were on the playground, and then you grow, and you're in your teenage years, and You got some friends, and you got a clique and a group and a squad. And at some point, you might get to college or get to your career path, and then you start to have a little more alone time, and yet you miss those days on the playground, and or you join the military and you've got this squad of 4 guys or 8 guys, and like, we're brothers. Like, I will die for you. Like, I love you that much that I'm here for you. And I can't imagine the depth of what happens over years of being an active a unit or a squad, where you truly are seeing things that I've never seen. And then when you get out, like, who's your squad? Like who do you hang out with and say, bro, I'm not doing good today? And the other guy's going, it's all right, I got you. Let's do this. Let's go outside. Let's go on a walk. Let's go to coffee. Let's talk. Let's pray. Let's read a book. Let's anything to get out of that funk, because a week later, a month later, it's probably going to be the other way around. If we're real with each other, emotions are real. I got a feelings wheel at my house, and it talks about all the different feelings. On the top, it says feelings and emotions are real, and they're like ocean waves, but we decide which ones to surf. Well, sometimes we need a partner, a buddy, to help us go, hey, I'm going to help you surf this one. You fell down, but I got you. And I know in our different ways of doing everything we can to connect with people is letting them know you're never alone. And as long as there's breath, there's hope. And it's okay to admit that you're down. It's okay to admit that you made a mistake. It's okay to admit that you're depressed right now. But usually when somebody's fighting depression, because even just a week or two ago, I had a horrible day. I didn't want to reach out to anybody. Like, how do I call you and say, hey, Ryan, I'm super down right now. My stomach's sick. I got anxiety. I got fear. And, oh, how are you doing today, Ryan? I mean, I don't know what you're doing at the moment. I'm going to call you and bring you down. Like, usually that's not how it works. But if you and I are so close that you've heard that Saturdays are a struggle for me, you might wake up Saturday and go, hey, Tom, just call him, man. Have a great day. You got things going on? Good. Just saying hi. Or you might send me a text, but you're thinking about me. You got my back. So we have to spend time together. And this report that came out last year, I know you've probably heard me talk about it, but the epidemic of America is loneliness. This is written by Murthy, the Surgeon General. And he talks about it for 3 or 4 pages, and he finishes it by saying, Murthy's suggestion, what this world needs is to create more opportunities where it's a culture of connection with kindness, respect, and service work. And we need to respect our veterans, and veterans need to respect us, and vice versa, because it's a different life. I thank God every day for them, and I also thank God every day for the janitor and the doctor. It takes all of us. It shouldn't be this, well, you're this, I'm this. It takes all of us doing different types of work. You do something I don't even understand, and that's okay. I don't need to be an expert at understanding the career path that you do, but just knowing it's simple. It's the culture of connection, respect, and then doing volunteer and service work and getting outside your own self and going, you know what I can do? I can wipe down the tables. I can set up the chairs. I can make the coffee and become, as that one gentleman you said, I mean, he came hurting, and now he's helping plan and host events to help other people that are currently hurting. It's actually pretty simple. It takes being intentional. We're so easy. Humans are it's so easy to just want to be entertained. I'm tired. I'm depressed. I'm just going to scroll my phone. Do you know how many hours you could go outside and do something for somebody else, and it would be so easy? And that's where you would find your joy, as if you went and did some volunteer work, but and I've done this. I can speak about myself. Through the years of life, I've made those choices to spend hours doing what? But I know with Mission Outdoors, I know with Joy Hour, and some of the other groups that we're connected to, there's some volunteer opportunities. And we need more men and women to jump in and help our current generation and really help this next generation, because the more time that they do too much of this and not go fishing or hiking or camping or playing catch outside, we need more awareness of how important this is.
Agreed.
Huge shout out to Zekon. They are doing amazing things to help us, and they will help you. For more information, hit here.
So,
one thing that I wanted to share with you, we have a videography team that attends our events, and they're amazing. They actually do that work for a fairly large company in the fishing space. And they come and attend our events, and they just came out with a video for us yesterday, and it's called Finding Your Unit. And in the military, I did not serve. I've got so many friends that have, but they teach you how to survive boot camp, and they teach you how to serve, but they don't teach you how to discharge. And medical separation is a major thing. You know, it's divorce, and we put this video together. We've been working with a veteran. He was referred to me by a good friend, and he's very disabled. He uses a walker to move around. He lives in a split entry house. He can't leave his house without help. Can't drive. Hasn't really been able to use his bathroom in his house because he can't get into it. And just the sweetest guy. But he attended. I asked him to attend our Lingcod Derby this last year, and then I realized how squared away he is. He was actually in Group, which is Special Operation Forces, and when he retired out of the military, he was a firefighter, and his body just started to fail and couldn't do that anymore. But he came out. He was our scale master for the Lingcod Derby, and he did not want to attend the event. He was nervous about it, and he thought, in this video called Find Your Unit, he talks about this being a gimmick. You know, he thought this thing's got to be a gimmick. All these nonprofits are out there, and there's a gimmick behind it. You know, they want something from me, and in this video, he talks about the fact that there is no gimmick. You know, he came out. You know, as humans, when we're out in the world doing our thing, we all worry about the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
But when you're disabled, it's, you know, times 100. You know, and so we were able to work some of those things out for him where it was safe for him to come and attend. And he talks about in this video, which is titled Find Your Unit, about how he's felt so much connection. He's been attending our events since then, and that was in June. And now he's helping to plan events for 2024, and it's so much fun to see him thinking about ways that we can connect. And as a veteran, he's got perspective that I don't have. Right. And as a disabled person, he has that perspective too. And so it's been really fun to see him come out and get involved and give back to others that are in his same situation. He's now working on recruiting, talking to other veterans that may have some severe disabilities that think that, hey, this isn't for me. You know, when I look at Mission Outdoors and all the things they do, it looks like there's a lot of able-bodied people. But for me, as you know, I kind of gave up fishing a few years ago. What I want to do now is see these vets get out and do that. I'd rather just barbecue for people on the back end. And so Reg has helped me do that. And I'll share that video with you as soon as it's ready for prime time. But we've got a couple little tweaks to make, but it's a pretty special video. And then we've also got an individual that his dad has been helping us with our marketing. His name's Joel Marquardt. I know you've talked to him.
Right, yeah.
And Joel's one of the best in the industry. He's done work for some of the biggest nonprofits in the world. One of my favorites is Union Gospel Mission. When you see their short videos on Facebook, a lot of that's Joel's work. But his son's been helping out through high school, and he went off to college and is following in his father's footsteps. But he wanted to do his college thesis on Mission Outdoors. So he's doing creative work, he's doing videography, and his college loved the idea so much that they're actually funding this project, and he's putting together a documentary on Mission Outdoors that will be airing in May, I believe. Okay. But it's inspired this kid in his career path. He's loved it so much, and he came out just to get some time behind the camera, and it's changed his life because you can't help it. You learn these stories and you learn about someone going from death and moving into life, getting their life back, contributing to others, and it's so encouraging. It's so much fun to see, and so I'll share that link with you as soon as that's ready, probably tomorrow. But it's stories of hope, planting seeds of hope, and Reg is in that video, and we planted a little seed of hope by encouraging him to come out to this event, and he's taking that show on the road, so it's fun to see.
Yeah. I love it. I'm just chewing on a few things there of when you hear of somebody's story. I've never met this man yet, but I look forward to it. But when you hear these stories, it should trigger in you this thought of, I wonder if I could be a part of that. I wonder if there's something I could do. And the first thing that we can talk about later more, but like being in construction for 30 years like I have, if there's ever an opportunity where it's like, hey, a door needs to be widened, for wheelchair access, well, easy. I got that. That's what we do. A bathroom needs to be remodeled, ADA grab bars, any of that stuff, and that's what I sure hope somebody's going to do for me when the time comes. And as a contractor, been doing this 30 years. I mean, a lot of those jobs are like a half a day for a guy. I mean, it's nothing. This is what we do. So if there's ever a need, please reach out for our construction side. Considerate Contracting loves what we do. It's been a lot of what's been able to fund the Joy Hour, and that's important. It takes money to make the world go round, but I always tell clients too, if you hire us, I want you to know a lot of our profits go to Joy Hour. Well, what's Joy Hour? Well, Joy Hour is, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's to touch lives. It's to get outside of our own selves and say, we've been blessed to the point where there's more hours in the day, there's more dollars in the bucket to do something for somebody else. And that's kind of one of the only things I've found that's really brought joy, is to do service work, to do volunteer work. I don't want a badge, I don't want a trophy, I don't want recognition. I go home saying, I can't believe how wonderful that felt to do something for somebody that can't return it, and I don't want them to, and you just got to do it. If you've never done service work, volunteer work, I always tell people, especially people in recovery, go to the food bank, man. Just start helping at the food bank. Do something in your local community to get outside your own funk, your own head, and that helps a lot with anybody in active recovery from active addictions. I see a lot of opportunities. I'm just personally even hearing there's opportunities for us to get more involved with people's lives, and that unit, I can't wait to see it. That's going to be good.
Excited about it.
Yeah,
it's so much fun to see a veteran open their heart to a group and be willing to accept help.
Because that wall, it takes a while for that wall to come down. Why should I trust that you really are being a friend? Because there might be an ulterior motive I don't see yet. So I'm guarded, very guarded. And it takes a while to break down that wall of trust. I know we got like 10 more minutes or so. I love this opportunity. I know we're going to do more on the show. I'm trying to think of the first time we met. So over a year ago now?
Probably.
The friendship just keeps growing. Every time we talk, we learn more about each other and how important that is. We're creating a unit.
Yeah.
We have parallel paths with a very similar heart and a very similar goal. I'll tell people what Joy Hour is, always in a different way, it seems like. We're creating a culture of connection, focus on addiction prevention, addiction recovery, mental health, hope, and healing. But ultimately, the shortcut to it is we are providing an atmosphere of connection where people don't feel alone, and overdose prevention and suicide prevention. Ultimately, that's what the goal is you're not alone. Absolutely. Don't go down that road. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's working with active duty military is a tricky thing, and we want to prevent addiction and all the things that come with that. And so we've been working really hard over the last 3 or 4 years to connect with active duty military, especially with the Special Operation Forces. There's a very large population at JBLM, and we know that if we get in front of this, if we help them with the ramp down of their military career, that we can potentially prevent some of these problems. And so we've been working almost exclusively with the chaplains on base. Great group of men and women. They've got an important role, but for active duty military, especially in the special operations space, they're all combat injured. Every one of them has had an injury, and there's one person they can be honest with about that injury, and that's the chaplain. If they're honest with their doctor or with their commander, their career is at risk. So they're, I joke with them, but I say that you guys are the best liars.
Yeah.
They have to keep their job. And the chaplain's in a position to understand the individual, the family, and really help us with recruiting. Some individuals just do fine with their career, getting out of the military, but for a majority, I think they're really challenged with that transition. And so our goal is to prevent by creating connection before they get to that end point in their career. Yesterday we had a really fun event up at Crystal Mountain.
Okay.
Crystal's become a partner for Mission Outdoors, and we had a bunch of families up from one of the special operations groups yesterday to ski. And so we had the opportunity to be up there as Mission Outdoors. We put our tent up, we had coffee and hot chocolate, and greeted these families, got them lift tickets, got them rental gear, and had lessons for them. A lot of them were brand new to skiing and snowboarding. And then we had the chance to all have lunch up at the Summit House.
Yeah.
So you ride the gondola up and Summit House on top, and what a day it was. But also very humbling experience to know what some of these families are going through right now. And the fact that they took time off work, time away from things they probably should be doing during the holidays to come up to the mountain yesterday was so much fun. It's always so much fun for me to see them and meet them at the beginning of the day, which is pretty formal.
Yeah.
And then get to the end of the day when there's sometimes tears because they feel like they have a new family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they realize there's no gimmick. There's just people here that want to love on them and be there for them and just really be their friend. There's nothing that we're looking for in return other than friendship, and hopefully that experience planted some seeds of hope. We had some families with young kids, and one of the things I like to do is share about some of the other opportunities that are out there, and we talked a lot about razor clam digging yesterday.
Okay.
And if you're into razor clam digging, you know that wintertime is when the seasons are open, and those seasons are down on the coast, so between Owako and Westport, and you can dig 15 clams per person. The state decides which days are going to open, and the digs are typically at night. So we did a dig this last Saturday, and the low tide was at 9:12 p.m. So you're wearing a headlamp.
Yeah.
You definitely want to put some sort of strobe in your car, strobe light, so you can find your car at the end of the night. I tend to use a disco ball.
Okay.
Nobody else has a disco ball, and I think that's fun. But you deploy out, get to the beach maybe an hour and a half before low tide. We use clam guns, which is kind of a tube-shaped thing, and we show the families how to look for a clam show, which is a little hole in the sand. You can kind of tell where the clam's at, and then how to dig those clams, and also how to be safe on the beach. Don't turn your back to the ocean. Stay together. Everyone has a headlamp, and it's one of the funnest little fisheries I've ever been involved in, and I've done every fishery you can do in Washington State, at least known to me. But sharing this clam dig opportunity with these families yesterday, it's just some young kids, young boys and girls that I had their undivided attention. Now that they did the skiing thing and got lessons, it's like, what's next?
Yeah.
So we started talking about razor clam digging.
That's
and
so
I had one young man, I think he was probably 14 or 15 years old. He and I were connected. I'm talking about razor clam, and he's paying attention. And I started talking about some of the other things we do, mushroom foraging, river rafting trips, hiking in the woods, barbecue competition. That's a whole new thing we're doing. We're going to be building these 55-gallon drum barbecue barrel smokers, and inviting these families to come learn how to barbecue right. And then we're hoping to do some internal barbecue competitions, hopefully unit to unit, friendly competition. It'll be safe. It'll be a place where they can come and learn and practice their craft. But get some of these young kids involved in this. Getting the dad involved, getting the mom involved, but getting the kids involved in barbecue or digging these clams or anything like that is so much fun. And going through a day like yesterday, the value of yesterday's activity up on the mountain was probably $250 per person, lift ticket,
Oh, yeah.
rental, lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and they see that. That's our value proposition. We're going to offer you a free day of skiing. Just come.
Mm-hmm.
And those families chose to take advantage of that.
That's awesome.
And you unlock this friendship, and now I can say, hey, and next we're going to go dig razor clams, and we're going to go fishing, we're going to go hunting, we're going to go hiking, and but now I have the kids,
Yeah.
and I have the spouses,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times when the mom gets connected with us,
Right.
everybody else follows suit. So it's so rewarding to put on an event like that yesterday. It's a lot of work, and our team, we've got a board of 13, including me, and I talk a lot about the enemy of perfection. The enemy of good enough is perfection,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so important to push through. Even when you really can't organize an event as well as you'd like, pushing through and actually having the event is so important. And yesterday we did this skiing thing, and it was kind of a last minute prep,
Mm-hmm.
but I really felt like we needed to push through, and we got up there, all these families arrived. I was talking to the chaplain about one of the families that was there, and some pretty major things going on, and life or death
Yeah.
things going on.
Yeah.
And this family showed up yesterday, and they left with smiles and
Mhm.
hugs. And that event yesterday was good enough.
Yeah.
And the relationship's been established. They now realize there's no gimmick. We're just
Mhm.
here to love on people. We just want the opportunity to hang out with them.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun to do that. And we're hoping that by doing this, we can create some inroads into Joy Hour.
Mm-hmm.
Once they know this is safe, and they know that I'm safe, and they know
Right.
that the other volunteers are safe, say, hey, you know what? We've got this thing over here that
Mhm.
you may want to consider. We're not saying you've got an addiction problem,
Right.
but we're here to have joy together. We're
Yeah.
going to hang out. We're going to talk more about razor clamming. We're going to talk more about the opportunities at Mission Outdoors. We're going to do it together as a family.
Right.
And back in the 50s, for example, families were it was all about church,
Mhm.
and I miss potlucks.
Yeah. Community events and
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
miss those things and coming together. And I remember as a kid going to church, and and I've just really longed to hang out with people at church outside of church.
Mhm.
My dad had some great friends at church, and I knew that they liked to go fishing.
yeah.
And that didn't happen at church, and I couldn't wait to connect with them outside church to do some of these hobbies that we talked about, during coffee hour between,
Yeah.
Sunday school and main church, and coming together and then having that next step opportunity like Joy Hour is so important. That's a phase 2
Mm-hmm.
item for Mission Outdoors. Now that we're friends,
Yeah.
nobody's going to come and confront you about any issue. We're
Yeah.
not saying you have an issue.
Yeah.
We're just saying we want to hang out and experience joy together. And so we're really excited about being able to take that next step. And I was able to share that with some of the families yesterday that were actually interested. So
Yeah.
it's exciting stuff.
I love it, and I know we got 5 minutes or less to wrap up, but the couple things come to mind there. Unlocking the friendship. Never really heard it said that I can think of like that. And unlocking the friendship. And why are we guarded, and when does that wall come down? And it takes time. Being around you, the first time I felt really good. The second time I felt better. By the third or fourth, I'm like, I can trust Ryan. And I'm a pretty good judge of character and of people and what their heart is, what their motive is. If they're doing something good to promote themselves, I can kind of see through that. But there is no gimmick with Mission Outdoors. And I love that. There's no gimmick with Joy Hour. I tell people all the time, hey, thanks for coming and hanging out and partying for 4 hours. Help keep me sober. I appreciate y'all. I love you. Have a great time. I'll see you next week.
Amen.
So it started, of course, as you know, a happy hour without the alcohol, because I'm in recovery, 2 years clean and sober, thank God. Never touching it again. But after 67 events, what I see overall is it's so much more just about combating loneliness and fear and anxiety and depression. It's not at all a, hey, you can only come if you're in the sobriety journey. No, that's on everybody's journey of where they're at with whether or not they drink something or whether or not Red Bull will kill you, but not as fast as meth. We all got different struggles. Sugar will kill you, shopping will kill you. A lot of these things will eventually shorten your life or end your life. So I don't want anybody ever thinking that Joy Hour is just this, hey, I can only go if I'm in this sobriety journey. No, for Tom, that's what it was. But the biggest thing is, and we actually changed our slogan about a month ago, it's creating a culture of connection, period.
Love it.
Do we have a heart for addiction prevention? 100%. Do we have a heart for mental health in the community? Absolutely. But ultimately, it's just creating a culture of connection. Come, you'll meet somebody, have a great time, hang out. It's a safe place. There's no gimmicks.
No gimmicks.
And so I'm excited about next year as we just continue to partner more and more. I believe there's going to be some really great things that happen. The vision for Joy Hour, and I'm sure Mission Outdoors, is to touch as many lives as possible. I would love to see one of these Joy Hours blossom in Bellevue next year, Tacoma, Portland, California, New York, and they could just...
JBLM's on my hidden agenda on base.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to discuss that more.
Yeah.
I was talking to the chaplain yesterday. They have a program. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they create guides. They're creating guides.
Yeah.
They're actually spiritual guides.
Okay.
So they come and learn, these are Bible believing people, and they come and they learn about sharing their faith with others. And
Right.
so they create guides, and then these individuals, once they go through the program, they go out and create groups.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much fun to see that happening. And I think there's some great opportunities on base with all the families down there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for me, it can be the forum to get folks in, get them connected, to unlock the friendship, and share some of the other fun things going on. And let's go razor clamming this weekend. We don't have to sit here all the time. We can go get out and have fun together. And so I see some big opportunities that are kind of opening up on base. I mean, that's a huge population.
Do a Joy Hour on base?
Yes.
That would be incredible.
Well, I believe the door's open.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
And what's really fun about it is that there are chaplains on base that are looking for ways to connect with their teams.
That's amazing.
And the venues are there.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Inside.
Man, I'm getting excited.
Outside. And so, bringing that up here on this podcast is, I guess, the best way to do it, Tom, is formalizes the fact that I think there's
Joy
a great
Hour
opportunity.
JBLM.
So I'd like to talk more about that, and again, it just creates a forum for connection. And going back to that analogy where, when we have that friend waiting for us on the weekend, we're going to treat our family better during the week as we're getting closer to the weekend, because we don't want to tell our buddy that we beat our kids.
Yeah.
We don't want to tell our buddy that we got drunk, 5 days out of the week, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's that accountability.
Yep.
Is unlocking a friendship leads to accountability through friendship, and it's something that's incredible, and I've seen it happen over and over and over again. And the more events we plan, the more accountability is on the calendar. An event represents accountability for everyone that's going to be involved in it. So,
accountability is huge.
Yeah, so I'm just super excited about this, and I just think that sometimes all it takes with addiction is one little person in your corner saying, you can do this. If I did it, you can do it. It may be shopping.
Yeah.
It may be something else, but...
Start shopping so much you get in debt, and then you got mental health issues and anxiety and depression because you're in debt. It's pretty simple.
It's it's amazing making healthy choices together and having that accountability. Like, I'm going to make good choices this week. Why don't you join me in that, and we'll get back together as we're going out to do this event this weekend and talk about how we did.
Yeah.
It's non-threatening and fun and safe. I mean, we as humans don't like to talk about our problems, but Tom, I got problems.
Yeah.
I'm struggling just like you. And, those like you said, Saturday comes, and if that's a rough day for you, I have those days too. Yeah. And giving back and volunteering and having that keeps me going. Yesterday we had this Crystal Mountain thing, and I actually woke up at 2:45 in the morning, couldn't sleep, and in a way I was kind of dreading the day because I didn't have time to create perfection.
Sure. You're a host.
I was dealing with good enough.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of hours before I needed to leave to kind of ponder that, and I spent a lot of time thinking about gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I have this opportunity with Crystal Mountain. No other nonprofit has that for veterans.
Yeah.
I have veterans that have signed up, 22 people total.
Nice.
I'm grateful for that. The sun's out.
Yeah.
There's a little snow on the mountain. Definitely a lot of rocks, but there's enough snow. And, just spending some time thinking about why I'm grateful changed my attitude. But I also knew I had volunteers that were going to be waiting for me, so I had accountability.
Right.
And so for me as an individual, waking up with anxiety, a little bit of depression, like I wasn't able to put this thing together as well as I wanted to. Those things wanted to rule my day, but thinking about the folks that would be there waiting for me and all the people that were counting on me moved me into an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for that. And I think we can replicate that in others' lives as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The other thing that came to mind as we close out is no judgment zone and no comparison zone. One thing I've always felt at Joy Hour and the other events I've been to with Mission Outdoors as well is nobody there is of a mindset of I'm right and my way is the right way, or a judgment of where are you at in life, and so much of social media is comparison, whether we think so or not. Comparison is the stealer of joy, as I mentioned. But even when we don't think we're comparing ourselves, if we stare at social media and all that too long, it's easy to say, well, they're always on vacation, I'm not. They have a nice car and I don't, and all of this. And it's subconscious, but it does weigh on, I don't care what age you are, but especially teenagers, where it's like, she's pretty, I'm not. He's successful, I'm not. What is success? Oh, you got to have a Lamborghini to be successful? Nonsense. And so I think in these nonprofits that we are operating in, the atmosphere is so beautiful in like, we don't care how old you are, how young you are, how rich you are, how poor you are. It does not matter what career path you're in or not in. It just equals it all as far as like, we're just here digging for clams. We're just here having some great barbecue. We're just here seeing some kids in a bouncy house and meeting each other. And then, what I've not heard or picked up on, and I'm glad I haven't, is a strong opinion. There's other atmospheres and networking events and environments I'm in where it's a very strong opinion of, I'll use examples. We're Democrat, we're Republican, or this is my view of religion, and you're this religion and I'm that religion, and so now we can't get along because there's a barrier, because we're different and I'm right and you're wrong. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about the events we do is come one, come all. Yeah. We're just happy to be alive and we're celebrating today, because right now, all I have is this minute with Ryan. And this has been a highlight of my day, this conversation. I'm glad y'all could be a part of it. But we have this moment. Let's live in the moment. Let's be intentional. Let's love each other and respect each other, regardless of the differences of opinions of politics or religion or anything else.
Amen.
So,
absolutely.
So good today. I know we're going to do another one, but time's cutting us short today.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on. But
I
love you.
Having me.
Appreciate you. Thanks for being on today.
My pleasure, Tom.
All right.
Anytime, brother.
Sounds good.